NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte added that Russia is not bombing cities for military purposes, but to spread panic among the civilian population. According to Rutte, Trump has decided to support Ukraine by selling weapons to NATO countries, which will then transfer them to Kyiv. Quote, "This means that Ukraine will receive huge amounts of military equipment, both for air defense and missiles and ammunition." "If there's no deal in 50 days, it'll be 100% tariffs," Trump repeated. Trump has changed his rhetoric on Ukraine amid growing pressure from hawks in the Republican Party. Senator Lindsey Graham, who visited Ukraine in May, is pushing for a new package of sanctions against Russia. The bill has already been supported by 85 senators. The vote is expected to take place by August. According to reports, Trump is disappointed with Putin, but won't give Ukraine weapons for free, Patriot on credit from Europe. Trump abruptly changed his rhetoric on the Ukraine war after failed peace talks with Putin. He said that Washington would send Kyiv more Patriot air defense systems. He emphasized that the United States would not pay for this. The EU will cover the costs. Quote, "I haven't agreed on the amount yet, but they'll get something. We will give them the Patriots they desperately need," Trump told reporters. Today, the number of 17 Patriots to Ukraine was announced. But again, we will study this issue with our military experts because 17 Patriots is a very good number for us. But earlier we heard that even one Patriot is very expensive, problematic, and that there are no Patriots at all. They are all busy, and there are no free ones. There are 17 of them. Interesting, we'll look into it. This marks the first military aid to Ukraine in his second term, after previously holding back arms and urging Putin to negotiate. After a new wave of massive airstrikes on Kyiv and other cities, Trump changed his tone, admitting his disappointment. Putin says nice things and then bombs everyone. The US president said that the supply of the Patriots would be funded by the EU. Earlier, he said that these systems are 100% funded by NATO. According to Bloomberg, a single Patriot battery costs more than $1 billion. Each missile costs about $4 million. According to a NATO representative, the alliance will play the role of coordinator, while individual member states will make the purchases. Germany is currently negotiating with the Trump administration to provide 2 more Patriot batteries, bearing all costs. Interestingly, amid new promises, the Pentagon recently paused some supplies due to stockpile surplus. However, Zelensky said that supplies have already been resumed. He called the dialogue with Trump on Patriot positive. It has been reported that Special Envoy Keith Kellogg has arrived in Kyiv. He is to meet with the leadership of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, the Security Service of Ukraine, and intelligence to discuss further support. Against the backdrop of these events, the U.S. Senate is preparing to consider a bill on new sanctions against Russia. Senator Lindsey Graham proposes to give the president the right to impose 500% tariffs on China, India, and other U.S. partners if they buy Russian energy or goods. Senator Graham said that a turning point is coming in Russia's invasion of Ukraine and promised a record flow of weapons in the near future. Until recently, Trump called Zelensky an obstacle to peace, and in February he called him a successful comedian and dictator. Now the situation seems to have shifted due to Russia's intensified attacks and pressure from European allies. Trump tried to negotiate with Putin, but it didn't work. Now he agrees to provide Ukraine with air defense systems, but Europe and NATO have to pay for it. He changed his position because he realized that Putin was not compromising and was continuing to attack. The situation is developing in an interesting way, as we are probably still waiting for a certain refutation about the Patriots. Trump will change the exact number. He will say, "Oops, I was wrong," or not 17, or let's make it 2. We will have to investigate when all this will happen. Even these two systems, they will be there. If we get 17 systems, we remember the experience of how we used them when we shot down Russian planes. And since then, one of the systems, or even 2, if I don't remember exactly, has now been destroyed by the Russians, and this has made us treat these systems more carefully, use them exclusively for defense and not use them in attack. If these 17 systems arrive, a certain part of them can be reserved for attacking maneuvers. This week was an airplane crash, with a plane going down almost every day. Patriot could have been involved in this somehow. So we are waiting for this, especially the sanctions announced by Trump. Since Trump spoke harshly, we think that's it. That is, all these carrots and the desire to end the war peacefully seem to be over. As Trump refuses to comment on Putin, say he is a murderer, or burn bridges, we come to believe that this principle of peace through strength is true, but it is based on the diplomatic track that Trump has been developing since the beginning of this year. This statement itself, that within 50 days, is relevant. The question is relevant. For these 50 days that Trump gave Putin, here is a question. Starting from the beginning of these 50 days, and by the way, when do they start? In a week or maybe next month. You see, yes, this is Trump's logic. So when will they start? Will the weapons start reaching Ukraine on the same day as planned? Or will we only be thinking about how to load it, how to deliver it, what routes to take, and so on and so forth from this first day of aid? Since the beginning of the year, there has been enough time to quickly coordinate all the options for the scenario of events, including the obvious scenario that Ukraine has been talking about, which is what Ukraine has been talking about. The United States. There was plenty of time. But the Europeans were not even going to talk about the United States. Trump could change his Europeans. It should have been absolutely transparent. Did they understand that Trump could reverse his position? And for whom? For the Europeans, it should have been as transparent as possible. And that when he changes his position, when he reverses it, we need to act quickly. We need funding, well-organized logistics, and ready-made equipment. Trucks with weapons should be on the border with Ukraine and enter as soon as Trump realizes that the Russians are misleading him, limiting him with promises and giving him nothing but empty historical references. Today, Mr. Rutte noted that in the context of the negotiation process, which we have been talking about for a long time, Putin sent not a diplomat, but a historian who began teaching Russian history in 1250. Perhaps the topic of Russian dinosaurs on native Russian land was also mentioned, perhaps not. But the point is that the diplomatic process has been reduced to historical excursions, which in the Russian paradigm serve not only to explain aggression, but to justify it.
Російській саме парадигмі являються саме поясненням їх агресії і не просто поясненням, а виправданням.
When they give these lectures, it seems to them that this fully justifies everything they have been doing for a long time against Ukraine, the civilian population, and violating agreements in every way, both with us and with other countries. They recognize the violations, but suggest referring to the Russian history textbook, which no one but themselves wants to read. The world wants a just end to the war, and this is the key issue. To encourage Russia to do so, Trump seems to have decided to be proactive.